So if I do a share screen, which one has it gone? This one. Hold on, bear with me. Let me make sure I've got the right one up.
Well, actually, Elvan, might be easier if I share with you.
Okay.
And then I can run through where various of the things are.
Give you control, but yeah, go for it.
Well, I can, yes.
If you're already logged into the CMS, that's fine.
I am, yeah. Okay, let's do that.
So I think the main things is creating and editing members, creating, editing, and if needed, removing events, and creating blog posts or news articles.
Okay.
I think those are the main three things that we should focus on for this morning, if that's okay.
Yeah, fine. All right, let's look at doing members first.
Members, okay.
Now you have to forgive me, although I set this up, it was a couple of years ago, and I haven't really worked on it very much since then because Chloe was dealing with it all. So I'm a little bit rusty, but I'll just try and remember where things are.
Okay.
Okay, so members are in posts. So this is the all posts screen. We can see the main menu on the left. Go to all posts. And the way this works is by using categories. So you can see in the middle of the screen, there's a section called categories. There are various things which are news posts. They will pull through into the news page. And then these ones that say food and catering, member write-ups, website only, they are the members. So these categories that they are in are, they do a couple of different things. So one of them is determining what sector they work in. And the other ones are determining where they appear in different parts of the site. So member write-ups is, can't remember what it does, but I think that's where that's what's used to display the actual long form information about the client. So let's just scroll down through here.
If I can check something,
yeah.
So wherever there's a comma, does that mean that there are, for example, grumbling gorillas, are they in 4 categories, IT consultant support, member office and member write-ups?
Yes.
Okay.
Any post in WordPress can be in multiple categories.
Right.
So if something is pulling through that category, it'll get them even if they're in other categories. So in this screen, the all posts screen, you can do a quick edit. So if I go to Buckinghamshire Wills and Trusts, I can click on quick edit. So it stays on this page. And one of the things you can see is that you can change the categories.
Okay.
Or add or delete categories in here. There are some other things you can do, in particular, change it from published. So we see over on the right here, it says published. You can change that to draft, which will unpublish it. So they won't appear anywhere. So if you've got someone who, let's say for the sake of argument, they don't want to pay their subs, but you think, well, they probably will pay their subs and they'll probably come back, you could unpublish them without deleting them. But if you want more detail, so let's cancel this and we go back to a proper edit. So here is information about the company. Now you'll see the purple rectangle on the left there, which says use the Divi Builder. Don't use the Divi Builder on these posts because they have their own formatting. If you try to use the Divi Builder, it will come out in a very peculiar way. So just put the text in straight. you can use the visual
That's how I've been using
editor.
going into
Doesn't
the
matter.
builder so I can actually see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, the visual editor in WordPress is not brilliant, to be honest. So if you know a little bit about HTML, it's actually a lot easier to do it in the text, which is an HTML view.
Very limited, my HTML knowledge.
Okay, now yeah, this is not a very good example. What we need to do is we'll just go back to an older one.
Maybe yours.
Good idea.
I can see there Royal Marketing presents.
Yes.
How come it's got Steve Hayden there as an author rather than our usual Vigi username?
Because Steve is set up as an editor or administrator, and I suspect our page is so old, probably the first one that was done, that at that time Steve Hayden may have been the default administrator, whereas it's now this one. As a general rule in WordPress, it's quite a good idea for security reasons to use a coded author name as well as a password. So that's why we do that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Royal Marketing is a very good idea actually, because I can see that it's been done in Divi.
What about
So I'll just try and find another old one. Okay, so let's look at Green Telecom. That's obviously a pretty old one there. 2014, is it really? Extraordinary.
Is that when the website was created, roughly?
Yeah, must have been.
Yeah, this was one of the first things I saw and I went, oh dear Lord.
All right, so this is using the Divi builder.
I think I went to return to standard editor. I think that's what I did. So that
right.
see what it looked like on the screen.
Okay, bear with me a second. I will just get this up at the front end so we can have a quick look. Okay, I'm just going to just change the view. At least I will if I can. Okay. Right, so this is the front end of Green Telecom's page. So what we're looking at here is what we see in the Divi builder. We've got two columns, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the left is holding custom fields. So we'll go back to the back end in a minute and we'll have a look at that. But the Divi builder just gives you an easy way to put things into columns, things like that. So let's just go back to the back end. Okay, so we're back in the back end. And if we look at this holder for custom fields, so that is just called a shortcode. So all it does is pull in some fields, but the fields themselves, we actually see further down the page here. So there's a main section called custom fields, and this is where all the magic happens. So by using these custom fields, which are all set up, so down at the bottom where it says add new custom field, if we click in there, we can see them all in here. So there we are, company main address and so on. So they've actually all been used here. So really, in many ways, the easiest way to make a new member is to clone an existing one. Then it will have all these elements already in there, and you just have to go through and put the right things in the right place. If you try to make one from scratch, then it can be quite problematic.
Okay.
But
How would I do that? How would I clone an existing one?
okay, I'll show you that in a second. Just before we leave this, I'll just point out the excerpt here. This excerpt is pulled through into the directory view. So we can see that this is a member offer, which is being shown in the directory view.
Is this still live? Because I don't even think Steve Hayden has Green Telecom anymore.
I think it is, because I just brought it up. Well, let me just check. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. So the member offer, well, the member offer is in the excerpt in this case, but it's also, in fact, in a custom field called member offer, which is how come it appears in the custom fields.
So what other sort of information could you put in the excerpt? A rough sort of bio?
Well, I'm not sure actually, because let's just, I'll just go back to the front end again. Yeah, we just go back to here. So I'll just let this load. So I thought those excerpts were pulling through to here, which I think they did when this was originally set up, but they're clearly not pulling through to here. So it's pulling some different information here. It's possible. Let's just have a look at the member-to-member offers. There we are. That's where it's pulling through.
So that's the offer.
Yeah. So the
excerpt information.
The excerpt information also has that offer in it. It's being used to display that offer in this particular page, which is the member-to-member offers.
Okay, so the excerpt information currently has member-to-member offers.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you don't have a member-to-member offer, you don't have to put anything in there.
Are there any there that have nothing? Because it's always good to have something, isn't it?
Well, it defaults to. So if we just go back to the directory, it defaults to just pulling through the title and the website by the look of it. But from this page, you can click on any of these and it will go to their member page. But obviously some of these have not been set up correctly because they don't have any other information. Let's Barnet Waddingham probably there. Yeah. So this is how they should be set up. Yeah. So that's on the left, we see all the information from the custom fields. On the right, we see the long description.
But they have no excerpt.
They have no excerpt.
Okay.
So let's go back to back end. So we'll go back to the all posts now. Oh no, sorry, before we leave here, down here at the bottom right is featured image. Featured image will also pull through in those directory listings.
Pardon?
So the directory listings that we were just looking at, which is the member directory, and there's a separate one for the member-to-member offers. The image that they will show, which is the logo, is pulled through from this featured image.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the logo needs to go.
Okay.
Now there is also a custom field. We can see about halfway down, there's a custom field called company logo, which actually has the location of the logo on the site.
So
and that displays it in the page, in the members page.
Right.
I told you it wasn't simple.
That's okay.
Okay, so if we go back to look at all posts. And let's just see if we can find that.
A way of cloning a member.
Yeah, and I'll show you that in a second.
Okay.
So Barnet Waddingham, we can see has got its featured image. You can see that over there on the right. If we do a quick edit, oh no, it doesn't show us. Okay. I was hoping it would show us if it had an excerpt, but it doesn't. Anyway, in any of these posts, if we look at all posts, you can copy one. Just if you hover over it, you see the menu underneath. There's one which says clone. So if you say clone, it just makes a copy of it, and it will say the same title and draft. So you can just edit that, change all the details, job done.
Okay, so if there's any posts that we want to make look very similar, so for example, creating a new member, a new blog post, okay, so clone and edit accordingly.
Yeah, and then don't forget to go through and edit all the custom fields.
Okay.
So if you go, when you're doing this, I do recommend go back to older ones, because as we've seen, some of the newer ones. So if we look at Trekkers, which has been added in August, probably by Chloe, there's nothing there. Basically, there's no content. So all there is a link to their website, and there's no information in the custom fields.
Just an image.
So it's got the logo
and their website.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, some companies, when they sign up, it's really difficult to get information out of them. So it could be that that's all Chloe has been able to get. So that's all she's done. But it should be a more sophisticated and more complete thing.
Okay. So if you were to scroll down a bit, right, okay, so this is the custom fields where normally you would, okay.
Yeah, so in these custom fields are all the things like company contact, company email, but there's loads of fields here. So it's much better, rather than try to rebuild it yourself, just clone an existing one and edit the information in all the fields in the existing one.
So if one day we do get information from trackers, we'd need to go in and create it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll show you something else though, which will be useful for you. As well as being able to clone pages, if you're using the Divi builder, so we'll just go back and look at Barnet Waddingham
Do
here.
not use the Divi builder.
I know, I lied. Obviously, it is okay to use the Divi builder. So if you're using the Divi builder, you can right click on any of these. So have you used the Divi builder on any pages?
No.
Okay. Well, the way it works is that you have sections. Within the section, you have rows, and within the rows, you have modules. The row, you can change the number of columns. So if I click on this little column thing here, you can see you can change the column structure.
Yeah.
And if you click on the edit thing, which is the cog on the module here, we've got the content.
But then a left click, that wasn't a right click.
That's a left click. There's a load of other stuff you can do in here. But
another day, maybe.
I'm not going to go into that now. But what I did want to show you is that you can right click on any of these elements.
Yeah.
So you can right click on a section and it brings up a menu here, and you can copy the entire section.
Ah.
So that can be useful for you to copy stuff from one page into another.
Yeah.
So you can copy it there. You can use the Divi builder in another page and paste it in there.
So if you were to say copy the section, where would it go?
Well, you go to, I mean, I can do it right now. I can copy that section. I can right click on this button here and say paste section.
Ah.
And it's here, but you can do it to another page as well.
Right.
And then you can move them about. So I can drag and drop that to a different position.
Right.
But of course, what this doesn't do for you is it doesn't bring in the non-Divi elements, which would be the excerpt and the custom fields.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
So it is better just to clone an entire post.
Yes.
And then all of the stuff should come in ready formed for you, and you just edit the individual elements.
And take out what you don't need. Okay.
Yeah.
So far, so good, I think.
Okay, so you're reasonably happy with how to deal with the members posts?
I think I'm okay with members, cloning pages, and editing out with the excerpts and things like that. Yes.
Let's just talk about categories for a minute.
Yeah.
So we can see here we're looking at Barnet Waddingham. They are in accountancy services and financial services. They're also in member write-ups, which I can't remember what that's for, but I think everybody needs to be in member write-ups. And another important thing from the point of view of categories is member offers. So if somebody has a member offer, you need to add them to the member offer category, which you can do in here on the right.
Okay, so every single member's page needs to have the category ticked for member write-ups and member offers.
Only if they've got a member offer.
Only if they've got a member offer. They do need member write-ups.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So they need to be added to the relevant business sector category, then they need member write-ups, then they need member offers if they've got member offers, and they need non-member offers if they've got non-member offers. Generally, most people have not had those. It was obviously a thing a few years ago, but and unless it's kind of very actively promoted, nobody bothers with it.
So what if a member is created and the category is ticked for member write-ups, but neither member offers nor non-member offers is ticked? Then what happens to that member's page, and how is it seen?
Well, it will show in the main directory,
Right.
but it doesn't show in the offers directory.
Because they don't have an offer.
Exactly.
So when you say non-member offers, what's that?
Let's just go back to the front end. So maybe it's not even there anymore, actually, non-member offers. No, here we are. So down here it says non-member.
Non-member to member.
It should be member to non-member offers.
Ah.
But okay, we've got one.
Oh, okay. So this is people who are members offering non-members an offer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as we can see, we've only got one person does it, so it doesn't even have its own pay. Well, it's not in the menu because it's obviously a very minor thing.
Oh yeah, I just wonder if it should just be offers non-stop. Like end of story, really.
But there are rather more member-to-member offers. There are 24 of those, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's. So
we've got quite a few events going on.
Yeah.
So many of which have a landing page for the I forget the URL, but the contact URL, which a tiny URL has been created from.
Yeah.
How do I put that event or those events into the website?
Right. Let me show you.
And who creates them? The emails that have gone out to say, here we've got Paul Wakefield, here is this picture, here is the event, here are the details. Who does that?
Andrew Merrifield.
Okay.
So at the moment, there's a bit of an issue that different people are doing different bits of it.
Okay.
It's not very joined up. So we did try to implement a system which would be more joined up, but there's never enough of it happening to really merit spending a huge amount of time on it.
Okay.
What I will do first is I will just show you what I implemented as a quick fix the other week. So if you need to do something quickly, you can do it in here.
Okay. This is for events you're talking about.
Yeah. Bear with me just a second.
Sure.
Okay, so at the moment on the events page, there is a list in a table. So we'll just go.
I'm gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I'll just bring that up for you. Bear with me. So this is the events page. Now you can see here, this is where the Divi Builder starts to become very helpful. You've got quite a lot of different things going on the page, and you want to have different different column widths in different places. So this is the Divi Builder for that page. And what we see, this last one here has got the all events table. So if you want to edit one of these events, they are just in a bit of simple HTML in the table. So the way that tables are built is they say table at the top, close table down the bottom, then TR, that means row, then there'll be row close TR, you can see that there, at the end of the row, and then the table cells are TDs. So we can see what we have here is we've got a row which says do this in bold. Then we've got the first cell says event type, second one is location, third one is date, fourth one is time, fifth one is details. So that's the header row. Then it moves on to the second row, and this is where the events start. So this one is networking online, Tuesday 19th of October, 11 AM. And here is the description. This has actually got an individual class attached because it needs the text to be smaller, basically. So that's what that class does. And what we can see in here is it's got the description of the event, blah, 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 blah. And then a href with the tiny URL. That's the link to the Eventbrite page, I guess. And the link text is click here to book. We can see that. So it's
I don't know if that was Eventbrite. I think that was the landing page that Andrew created.
I don't know. I haven't looked at them.
Anyway, okay.
But normally we'd have the Eventbrite page to book it, and then you'd put that URL in there. If we look at this using the visual thing, hey, actually shows us the table. So it might be a bit easier to add it there. So you can, so if you've got events here which don't have a link,
yes,
you could just, so if I go to this one on 16th of November, I can say.
We don't yet have a link for that, but okay.
Yeah, so if a link came in for this one now, we could add the link here. So I'll just put some text,
yeah,
highlight the text,
yeah,
and then at the top here, I can add the link.
Yeah.
So in there, you can now see it down the bottom. You put your URL in there, and then your link's done.
Okay.
So
yep, that is
these,
helpful. So this is what I think I was in the other day.
yeah.
But I was seeing it visually. I wasn't going into the Divi Builder. So that's why you can see there are blank rows, because
Right.
those either were
Yeah, it's a blank row there,
or there was a duplicate or something. So the row is still there, but the content isn't. So I think that was me.
Yeah, I can see it. Here it is. Yeah, so that's your blank row.
You've got 3 closed off. Was it 3? I don't know.
So basically between the TR and the closed TR, that's your entire row. That's your blank row.
Okay, so would I not be able to do that visually, i.e. go into the tables row, right click and delete like you would do a normal table? Do I have to go into the HTML? I'm not confident on HTML, I'll be honest with you, Angus.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like you can. Oh no, delete table. Don't want that. Delete row.
There you go. Ta-da!
There you go. So if
That's how I would do it.
that's fine. however it works for you. So obviously you can use those table buttons there to do various things.
Okay, great.
So we'll save that.
Oh, I'd need to go in and find the link for.
Yeah, don't forget, if you do anything in the Divi Builder,
Yeah.
you have to save whatever you do in the module, as we just did,
Yeah.
and then you also have to update the page. It's not saved until you've updated the page, which is the big blue button on the right.
Okay. So save module, then update page.
Okay, so that is how the events tables are working at the moment.
So how did we get to this? You did that from the website, didn't you?
I went from the front end, but there's the all events page, then there are a couple of other, well, in fact, each local area has got its own events page.
Yeah, can I ask
Well,
about that?
Yeah.
Is that straightforward to have events on Amersham, events in Chesham, events in Wickham, events that are business clinics, events that are networking and online? Or would it be simpler to have all events in one place, wherever they are, however they are, just events?
Well, it would be simpler, but certainly when the site was set up, it was felt that people would want to see what was in their area.
Right.
So if we just view this page. So if I go to Amersham, then we can see we've actually got a little table in here, which just operates the same way.
And you mentioned that there were within the events, all of the events within that page on the back end, there was a keyword.
Ah, yes. Okay.
It drags it through to the right
Yes.
place.
Right. Well, the table system that we've just been looking at is a fix which I implemented because I had to get a load of events on there quickly.
Right.
But there is actually a system on here which we used to use, which is rather more sophisticated. So let's have a look at that. Now this uses the Google Calendar.
Okay.
So if you add an event to the Chiltern Chambers Google Calendar,
Yep.
there is a plugin on here which will pull it through. So we see over here in the main menu, there's calendars. So if we look at the calendars, these are set up for various things. So there's a whole series of calendars which have already been set up. And the way these work, so let's have a look at the Amersham one. Here we go. So this is the really critical thing. So the calendar settings, which we see down here, we've got a number of tabs on the left. Some things detailing how many events to show, some things about appearance. But the Google Calendar tab contains a really important thing, and it's the search query. So if your event says it's blah, blah, blah at Amersham, the plugin will find the ones which say Amersham and pull them through to this instance of the calendar. Okay, so when we go back to the all calendars page, all of these are different instances of the calendar, and they all have their own short code. So if we put that short code in a widget in the sidebar, it will display all the events from Amersham.
Sorry, there were two words that I didn't quite understand. if we put the short code in a widget and a sidebar, what does that mean?
Okay, right. In the middle of the page here, you see this. So anything in WordPress which has these straight brackets around the outside is a short code. There's basically a little bit of HTML which WordPress uses itself. So various plugins will provide you with short codes. And if you put that short code somewhere else on the site, so you could put it in a page or in a sidebar, it will show that calendar. So if we've got something with Amersham, did you add any events to the Google Calendar? Have you added any recently?
Nope. Not yet. I think I felt like I needed this session first.
Okay. Let me just see if I can do it. Hold on a second. Oh, come on.
No, you're signing in as.
Yeah, no, I need to get.
If you go up to where your email address is.
I'll just do it on this incognito one.
Okay. Getting so far.
Okay, I'm just going to switch the chat.
Oh, you've got multiple screens. Here we go.
Yeah, so
on the right, there's like 9 little dots. You should be able to
yeah.
there.
Okay, so let's make
You have do you need to find some of the events?
now the great thing here is
okay.
that when we make an event, you can put a link in here. So if you've got the Eventbrite booking link, you can put it straight into this content, which basically reduces the number of things that have to be done.
Yep.
So it's not going to be all day. It'll be 10 to 10:30. Okay, so we can see that's gone in there on the 21st. So let's go back. Let's go back to here. Right. So if we copy this short code and we'll go to the Amersham page. Okay, what we can see here is that at the bottom right, in grey, we've got something which says next event. Now that is, in fact, a sidebar widget, effectively, which is disabled at the moment. So if I right click on that and I enable it.
Why is it disabled and why do we need to enable it?
Because this is going to show us the test event that we just made in Google Calendar.
Okay.
I hope. So I've just enabled it. Just see what's in there. Okay, so we can see that it's got that short code already in there. So we update this. Page. Ta-da!
Okay. So every time that I wish to create a new event, I need to enable that widget.
Well,
Event?
no, what's happened at the moment is that all those widgets have been disabled because the events have not been being added to Google Calendar. But if you add all the events to the Google Calendar, re-enable the widgets on the various pages, then they'll all show up like that.
I see. Okay. Okay. Right, I'll be giving that a go. So I don't need to worry about copying that short code
No,
from anywhere.
no, because I think they're all there already. We'll just have a quick look at another one, see if it's there. So Chesham, it's got its full table.
Yeah.
It's quite nice to have the full table actually, because people can look ahead as well as seeing the next one.
Yeah.
So if we edit the page, yeah, so similarly, we can see that's got a next event grayed out. So if I right click it, so enable
information through if it's in the Google Calendar, is that right?
Yes. So when I enable this, it'll say, oh, there's nothing there.
Oh, what are those three things there?
It just means do it on mobile, tablet, or desktop. So you can, if you're very confident with Divi Builder, you can enable some sections on certain kinds of devices.
No, I'm not.
It can be very useful. So for example, when I make landing pages for people, so they're using AdWords, and all they want is for somebody to phone up or send them an email, I put a couple of buttons on the mobile screen, which look like kind of device buttons, but I don't want them to appear on other devices. So those buttons will only show on the phone, but not on other devices. So you can use the things we see there to do that.
So what's behind those three numbers? What did you just click on?
Well, you can see they're in red. I just click them.
Okay, so we're doing all three because this is what button was that you just pressed? There was it enable?
Yeah.
Right.
So I
enable and then select all three.
Exactly. Right click, enable. and then don't forget to update the page.
Save and update. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, what does it look like? So next box is enabled and all 3 devices. Select. Okay, I must have missed that when you were doing it for Amersham.
Okay, so just view the page. And so there's nothing there.
Because it's not in the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure why they're saying.
Yeah, why do you have the edit calendar then? And does it take you to the Google calendar or does it take us to a different calendar somehow? Let's find out.
I don't know, but I'll get rid of it.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, we've got the table of events and we have a Google calendar that needs updated, but has there been a chamber calendar?
Well, there is an all events calendar, but I don't know where it is. If we have, let's have a look at the all events page.
In the bottom, yeah.
So if we look at the back end of this,
so you never go to enable visual builder. You personally don't use that part.
no, it's just a bit too flappy.
Flappy.
That's a technical term.
Right. Because it shows me what it looks like.
That's true. I mean, it takes longer, basically.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's in this text. Let's just have a look. Oh, that's just a COVID message.
Okay.
So we'll just get rid of that again. So this one.
So what would be in that dark grey box text? All events table in here.
That's the table.
Right. So for example, there was an event yesterday with Ladi Mohammed and John Browning. So I could go in there and take it out.
You could, yeah. So yeah, probably easier for you to do in the visual view. So if it's this one,
yeah,
you could just highlight the whole lot, and then one of these, that one in the middle, is delete row.
Yeah. Perfect.
So then you have to save it there and then update the page. So the advantage of using the Google Calendar plugin is that you don't have to remove any past events. They just disappear automatically. So it's kind of less work to do. Let's just have another look at the calendars. So there is one here for all events. And so we can see that this says, basically that will show all events for the next 2 months. So this one doesn't filter, it just shows all events.
Okay.
And it refreshes every 10 minutes. Right. So you could put that short code, which we see over here on the right, into, in fact, well, why don't we do it? I'll copy it here.
Yeah, I was going to say, remind me where you put it, please.
Okay, so I've just copied the short code.
Short code from the calendars page, okay.
And so if I go, So we'll go to the all events page. So I'm going to add a new box here. So I click on that and say text. So I'll paste it in there. And let's just.
So we're pasting it in the Diggy.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that bottom one there. I'll update the page. Okay, now we've got a view page. So it should be right down the bottom. There we go.
Ah, oh. So that one that was cancelled, that
Well,
Merrifield one, what?
Yeah,
that's
it's
still in
because
calendar.
it's because the all events calendar is set to show events. Well, that is still live.
So we need to delete it out of the Google Calendar.
No, because it won't show it once it's passed.
Well, it's passed. It was supposed to be 2 days ago.
This one's October
Oh, no,
20th.
pardon. Oh, that was supposed to be today.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's showing that because it is today.
Right. So tomorrow that would have gone.
Yeah, should be. Or if it doesn't go, I mean, it's possible that it won't because the calendars.
Can we put that page in draft mode for the time being until I've got the events in the calendar?
Yeah, what we can do is just disable that block.
Okay.
So I'll just look at that calendar again. So it could be that it will show, so we see here, it says earliest event 2 months before start date. So it might show them, or it might not, because it could be that the Google Calendar itself will remove the event, depending on the settings in the Google Calendar. But if it did show it, then what you could do is you could just say early event 0 before start date. So basically it won't show anything before start date.
So just show events from today.
Yeah, I can change that now.
Because yeah, as a viewer, do they want to
Same
see
as start
events that have
date.
gone?
Probably not.
Same start date, yeah.
So I've just changed that to same as start date.
And then up to 60 days in advance when events are coming up.
Yeah, and I can change that to 90 days.
Okay.
And we'll just go back to the events page. So, yeah, I mean, what you could do with this as well, if you didn't want to have it below there, you could put it in the sidebar. You could put it there, move it up to there.
It's quite a big block, isn't it? So I'd imagine it needs to be wider rather than narrow.
Anyway, what I'll do is in each module at the bottom, there is the admin label. You can just see here. And it's quite useful to put a label on your modules in the Divi Builder so you know what each thing is. So I will say
perfect.
and then I'll disable it.
Okay. Yes, disable and enable. That's kind of another word for draft or published.
Okay, so oh, hello, done something funny there.
Oh, got another row added.
Just
Oh, that's a pain. So you've got to put it all back. It doesn't remember where it had been.
well, they're in order. Oh, that's still not quite right.
Is that how it was? What's
I don't
that
know.
code above the green sidebar? There's a dark grey code box.
Sure, we'll have a look in a second.
I'm sure as I get more confident on this, I won't keep thinking I'm going to break it. Oh my.
Oh, it's a video.
That's a video.
So it's basically holding a video.
Okay.
I think it's welcome back video.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the problems with the Divi Builder, is it makes loading and updating each page quite lengthy because it has to add all its own stuff. Anyway, there we are. Right, so what was the third thing on your list that you wanted to do?
So we've got members, we've got events. I would imagine that blog posts and news is similar to looking at a previous blog post or news article and then copying it or cloning it and
Yeah.
then writing over it.
Okay, let's just have a quick look at this. So we go to all posts. So the important thing here is to keep the category the same. So you can just make a new post, which you can do using add new,
yeah.
Or as with the members, you can just clone an existing one and then change all the details.
Right.
So I'll just show you if I clone that. So we've now got a copy of it, which says draft at the top. I'm going to edit that. I can actually spell my own name. Quite important to put your actual title in the permalink as well.
Yes.
You can see that the permalink has made,
A copy.
it says it's Peace in the Park 2.
Uh-huh.
Now, of course, we don't want it to be Peace in the Park 2. We want it to be Angus News.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to paste that in there
Okay.
and say OK there. Then you can just go and change the bits and pieces. Add a featured image is a good idea. Put the excerpt in manually.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's in the news category. And that's it.
Okay. And then to switch between the two to see what it looks like. How do you view it? I'll view post. Okay.
You can always view it at the top here.
Yeah.
I'll save it. Get rid of it in a second.
What's the difference between clicking on publish and saving it as draft to view what it might look like?
Well, obviously, once it's published, anyone can see it, but
Yeah.
there's a visibility option here, so you can make it private, which means that you can only then view it if you're logged in.
Yeah.
Which is useful.
Yeah.
But obviously, if it's draft, you can also view it if you're logged in, so it doesn't really make any difference.
It doesn't make a difference. Okay.
So let's just view it.
Oh, well,
So yeah, no, that's only shown to me because I'm editing, so don't worry about that. So that's all okay. Let's just see if it's in the news, which it should be. There we go. There it is.
Okay. So events could also be put in the news to say event coming up, because, for example, we don't want a repeat of having to cancel a workshop.
Yeah.
I don't know how worthwhile it is to have it in events as well as news, because it all comes back to the website and goes back to the same landing page anyway. So whoever shares it and however they share it.
Certainly, you probably wouldn't want to put networking events in there, but if you had a major event of some kind, a workshop or an away day or something, you could certainly put that in the news. In which case you could use actually the same event. No, you couldn't, because events are not done with posts anyway, but you could make a news post about it.
A link to maybe the Eventbrite details if they're.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so I've just got rid of that one.
Grand. This has been brilliant, Angus. Thank you.
Okay, I know it's quite a lot to take in, so if you start working on it and you come up with any queries, just drop me an email and I will try and explain. Yeah, that's fine.
Because I'm very conscious that we've taken an hour of your time. Oh, Karen's on her way to come and say something.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Angus.
Hi.
Nice to see you, even if it's virtually. Thank you very much for helping out with this. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
I found out about the High Wycombe one. We're not going to do it until February next year.
Right.
So whether we want to take that tab off or say to be commencing February 2022, I don't know. I don't know how important it is to have the tags now.
Well, I recommend leave it there and then just put a notice on that page, the High Wycombe page, saying events are starting in February.
Yeah, or then maybe if you're interested, get in touch and we can kind of update you. And then we can make, I've got about 5 or 6 people at the moment who said they're interested in a Wycombe one.
Yeah, we could say like coming soon, watch this space for early 2022.
Like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway, thank you very much. Just wanted to...
No problem. I think Elvan's got plenty to be going on with.
Got plenty to keep her quiet. Thank you.
You'll never keep me quiet.
Okay, I'm going to leave you to it.